Well, of course, when you think of women's boxing on Broadway boxing, you think of Heather Hardy, and she will be with us to call this one. Miyo Yoshida, the former world champion who recently lost her WBO super flyweight title, back in action against the very dangerous Indeya Smith. Her record, just 6-6-2, but she still believes that a world title opportunity is very much a possibility for her in the near future, and a win over Yoshida would certainly make that happen. We are ready for this one. Let's send it up to Matt Capitello.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Thursday night. It's the perfect night for fighting as Boxing Insider presents Broadway Boxing in association with DeBella Entertainment, emanating live from Sony Hall and streaming on DAZN. The action continues, ladies and gentlemen, with the following super flyweight bout, scheduled to take place inside of 8 rounds. Introducing our first competitor, approaching the blue corner at this time, here is Indeya Smith.
Well, the 26-year-old Indeya Smith, still known as Indeya Smith professionally, at least for now, but recently married, and now known as Indeya Rodriguez. But as a professional, as we mentioned, just 6-6-2. But maybe one of the most dangerous 500 fighters in the sport, as she showed last time out here at Sony Hall with one of the biggest upsets of the year over Sulem Urbina.
Indeya Smith, the opportunity here has not lost on her. She said tonight, you're going to see my A++ game. She's relishing the opportunity to take on a former champion.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, her opponent. Approaching the red corner at this time, here is Miyo Yoshida.
The 35-year-old Miyo Yoshida, the fighting single mother, now makes her home in New York City with her young daughter. The former WBO super flyweight champion lost her title last May to Tamao Ozawa in a shocking upset, but now looking for a fresh restart in her career and a fresh set of eyes on a very popular fighter from Japan. As we take a look at the tail of the tape, you see Yoshida enjoying a 3-inch height advantage over the diminutive Indeya Smith. But Smith, as you'll see, very much uses her height to her advantage on the inside. This should be a good one. Let's get ready to meet the fighters and send it back up to Matt Capitello.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following super flyweight bout takes place inside of 8 rounds. Our ringside judges are John Basile, John McKay, and Marcel Varela. Ed Claudio is the referee in charge of the action. Introducing first, boxing out of the blue corner, from New Orleans, Louisiana, now residing in Dallas, Texas. She stands an even 5 feet tall, weighing in at 111.8 pounds. And during this bout with an even record of 6-6 with a victory by way of knockout, formerly known as Indeya Smith, ladies and gentlemen, Indeya Azuka Rodriguez. Ladies and gentlemen, her opponent, competing out of the red corner, from Kagoshima, Japan, standing 5 feet 3 inches tall, weighing in at 114.2 pounds, and during this contest with a record of 15-3, ladies and gentlemen, Miyo Yoshida. We go to referee Ed Claudio for the instructions for both competitors.
Okay, ladies, both terms are good. I explained. She ain't got no interpreter. She ain't got no interpreter. Don't worry. I gave you the instruction of question, okay? Let's touch them up. May the best lady wins.
Miyo Yoshida makes her home here in New York City. Relocated from Kagoshima, Japan. Wants to spend the rest of her career fighting in the United States. And she will have a tough test here tonight against Indeya Rodriguez. We will, of course, respect her wishes to be called by her new marital name.
Indeya Rodriguez knows what a big opportunity this is to face the former champion in Yoshida. We mentioned Yoshida is a single mother. Her daughter, who's 8 years old, Mina, is here. And Yoshida wants to send a message to people of a similar background to keep going. That is her message. She wants to inspire others. She's done that so far in her journey, working her way up to world champion and now fighting here tonight at Sony Hall.
And one thing that will help Rodriguez stylistically in this fight, we saw Yoshida do this against Tamao Ozawa, kind of leaning in a lot more than she did early in her career. Earlier in her career, Yoshida was a little bouncier, a little rangier, but she's become more of an inside fighter. And when you're 5 feet tall and you're a volume puncher the way that Indeya Rodriguez is, you're probably not upset about that change in style.
One thing I don't like is the way Miyo is getting down to her height. She needs to use her reach. Stand up tall and use the long jab. She's just letting that girl walk in. You could tell she's a taller fighter. She needs to be fighting this girl on the outside.
Indeya Rodriguez is listed at 5 feet tall, so she has the height disadvantage, but she does have the youth advantage, nearly 10 years younger than Yoshida, and she has the activity advantage. Rodriguez fought 7 times in 2022. She's stayed active, she's got her rounds in, and she's ready for this moment.
Well, she's coming off a win over one of the better fighters in the division in Sulem Urbina, one of the better fighters in her division. Now looking to take out a recent world champion.
Now she put her hands together.
We got in there. She's got in there.
You see Rodriguez trying to land the overhand right, and Yoshida with the beautifully placed straight right hand. A spirited first round. Both women recognizing what this opportunity could mean for them in their career.
You can see Kat in the corner telling Miyo that she's got to snap her jab more, not leave it out so stiff. She got to snap her jab, keep that girl on the outside. Or if she's going to let her in, she got to match punches with her.
Round 2 begins. This one's scheduled for 8 at the junior bantamweight limit. And one thing that really plagued Yoshida against Tamao Ozawa in her most recent fight, where she lost her world title, was a slow start. Good shot there from Rodriguez, a right hand over the top, and now she works back downstairs to the body.
One thing about women's records is that they can be sneaky. You see a 6-6 record or an even record, you got to understand that in a weight class like 114, there's not a lot of competition. So these girls is just taking any fights, anybody, fighting champions, going out there. So it's not always telling what a female fighter's record is based on how good she's going to be in the ring.
Well, and when you look at Rodriguez's resume, she fought Gabriela Fundora and Christina Cruz in her 4th fight and 6th fight. So
Sure.
She was right into the deep waters immediately in her pro career.
And we saw at her last outing when she was here in Sony Hall that she throws a lot of punches. She comes to fight. This is not what you call an opponent. She's coming in here to fight.
Yoshida trying to find a way to use her height on the inside, trying to lean on Rodriguez a little bit. Might be warned for a shot behind the head there. And Heather, you can speak to this. The difficulty of fighting someone like Smith, someone who is short the way that Smith is, they're a tiny target also. They're difficult to hit. when you get in those situations.
Yes and no. I mean, Miyo's small too. They're the same size. So it's not like difficult to hit or anything.
Height-wise, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, that's why she got to use her reach, but I don't love that she's getting down on her level and trying to fight that way. Sometimes in boxing you got to adjust, make an adjustment. Look how tall she just stood up. She got a lot of height and a lot of reach on this girl who's staying busy on the inside. You see how Coach Kat is telling her in the corner, you got to use your jab, you got to let your hands go. From the outside, she got size on her. She got to stand up tall, use her jab, keep her from getting on the inside. You're going to let this girl get on the inside, you got to trade punches with her, let your hands go. Pick one or the other. You got to box and move, or you got to stand and fight. See, he said 1 jab, 2 jab, 3 jab, 4 jab. It's never enough. Jab, use your jab.
Round 3 begins. Indeya Rodriguez looking for her second straight massive upset.
There she goes with it.
And we'll see if Yoshida can go back to, again, what we saw more out of her early in her career, which is a little bit more rangy boxing. Yoshida misses over the top of the right hand. We mentioned that Yoshida's daughter, Mina, is in the crowd here, and it seems wise beyond her years when a reporter in Japan asked her, what does she think about her moving to the United States to keep boxing? She said, my mom only has one life. I want her to do what she wants to do. That's from a 7-year-old.
My daughter was like that too. People would always ask her, how do you feel that your mom is a fighter? And she'd look at them like, well, what else is she supposed to be? You just grow up in the life like that.
I guess boxers are good moms. Good shot there from Yoshida.
She's starting to pick her punches from the outside a little bit better in this round.
Yoshida was able to land cleanly there. And just to take you inside the mindset of Rodriguez, as she gets tagged again by another right hand. Rodriguez started boxing at the age of 16. She did it for self-esteem. She did it to work out, get in shape, and then she realized that this could become a career. Her mindset on getting punched in the face, her words, therapeutic.
Rodriguez balances boxing with a full-time job outside of the sport, as does Yoshida effectively. Well, back home in Japan, she volunteers at an orphanage, and her dream is to build one of her own. And a good bounce-back round there for Miyo Yoshida in round 3.
You see the body work there for Yoshida. And there was the straight right hand that certainly landed with power for Yoshida. She's been looking to work the jab to set that punch up, and she was able to do it effectively in that last round.
Round 4 underway. Better round for Miyo Yoshida in round 3, utilizing her jab. As Indeya Rodriguez giving a little bit more ground here, which is also helpful to Yoshida. And even when Rodriguez is lunging in, it's giving Yoshida an opportunity to meet her with right hands like that one. Mentioned Yoshida's 7-year-old daughter in the crowd. Well, her 90-year-old grandmother, Akemi Watanabe, who lives on an island. As they apologize to one another. As we mentioned, the 90-year-old grandmother of Miyo Yoshida lives on an island in Kagoshima. She can't travel to her fights anymore, but she still watches every single one of them, and as we understand it, she's tuning in here tonight.
Her fan base certainly ranges the entire spectrum of ages there.
Rodriguez trying to get back to the body work that was serving her so well in the opening round as a good left hook connects there.
I like that she's boxing a little bit taller in this round, using her straight punches to cut her off.
We've noticed Yoshida working the jab, standing up taller. We've also noticed Rodriguez now fighting off the back foot, taking a back step, and that hasn't always been advantageous for Rodriguez.
Round 5 underway as Miyo Yoshida seems to be finding her groove in this fight. And Kern, you pointed this out in the last round as well. We were talking about it. I think two things are happening. Yoshida is using her length a little better, throwing straighter punches, as Heather pointed out, using her jab. And she's forcing Rodriguez back a little bit, but also Rodriguez is kind of willingly moving back, which is helping her.
Rodriguez is fighting off of the back foot. That can be a very tricky thing to do unless you're a very skilled counterpuncher. It's harder to plant and land with power. It seemed like Rodriguez, in a way, was using her height disadvantage early in the fight, getting on the inside and then almost throwing punches from an angle that Yoshida wasn't used to. And that's what Heather pointed out. Yoshida was actually ducking to the level of Rodriguez. So the question is, was that an adjustment made by Yoshida to fight taller, or was that an adjustment made by Rodriguez to actually fight on the back foot, and that's allowed Yoshida to raise up more and use her height advantage?
Well, and that habit of leaning in was something that Yoshida just couldn't get away from against Tamao Ozawa last May. It really plagued her throughout that fight, and part of it
Nice left hook.
is I think Yoshida wants to fight. She has that instinct where she wants to trade punches, but sometimes that is not what's best for you, and I think we're seeing the best moments for Yoshida are ones like that. Final 10 seconds of round 5 as Rodriguez comes over the top of the right hand.
Again.
And a right hand to the body as well. Rodriguez closing the round strong.
Because you're always the smaller person. You know what I mean? So take notes. That's the thing about boxing. You could take notes from fucking 2 people that... Imagine if you punch like that, in that velocity.
I got a punch.
You punch your back. access to the chakras. Don't worry about the power. Definitely.
So the momentum in this one going back and forth a little bit as round 6 begins between Miyo Yoshida and Indeya Rodriguez. Rodriguez closed round 5 very well, landing a trio of right hands, one of them to the body. And when Indeya Rodriguez is at her best, that is what she's doing. It's rolling under shots on the inside and countering to the body. That is her best attribute.
Rodriguez uses her size disadvantage as an advantage to find different angles. That has mostly recently been neutralized by Yoshida. And that's a testament to Yoshida's footwork and throwing that jab out there as a rangefinder to set up the overhand right.
I think Yoshida's found some timing with her right hand as well. Just meeting Rodriguez on the entry, and we saw an uppercut connect from Yoshida as well. The corner of Yoshida getting more and more animated now. Confidence starting to build in the Yoshida camp. Good left hook on the inside. Yoshida, at least for the moment, looking like the fresher fighter as well.
One thing about women's fights, though, is that the opponent always comes to win. You never see a woman walk over a fight. They all look like this. Every woman comes to this ring to win.
Here we see highlights from the last round. Rodriguez had success there, slipping in the right hand, but Yoshida added the left hook there, another tool in her arsenal. We've seen a lot of jabs, a lot of straight right hands from Yoshida, but there she was able to incorporate the left hook. We've noted the instructions in the corner have been start with the jab, use that to set up your power punches. As this fight goes on, that's what we're seeing Yoshida do. She had a small feeling out process. She made adjustments.
Round 7 begins. Ooh. Good exchange here on the inside. Indeya Rodriguez coming out firing, and Yoshida there to meet her. Yoshida has taken part in 5 world title bouts, so you'd have to imagine these are also the rounds where that experience, being used to going 10 rounds, will start to play a factor. And we started to think in the last round, at least, that Yoshida was looking a little bit fresher, but as we said that, Curran, Indeya Rodriguez comes out firing.
I spoke to Indeya Rodriguez this week, and her only prediction for the fight, she didn't say win or lose. She said it's going to be extremely active and it's going to be a brutal fight. So she knew that it's possible that they could go the entire 8 rounds at this pace. The question is there anything else in Indeya Rodriguez's arsenal, in her toolkit? Can she work the body more? Can she move forward more as she was doing in earlier rounds to change the tempo and pace? It's been an even fight, an ebb and flow fight, but it does seem like some of the harder shots have come from Miyo Yoshida.
Well, and Rodriguez just has a kind of optimistic view on the possibility of losing. She said, it's a sport. There will be someone out there that gets the better of me, but that doesn't mean I'm a bad fighter. That doesn't mean I should quit. And also, I have kids that look up to me. I can't quit. Certainly not backing down here against Miyo Yoshida, who lands a good right hand right at the bell. The 8th and final round. One of our feature attractions here on Broadway Boxing, live from Sony Hall in the heart of Times Square. Miyo Yoshida and Indeya Rodriguez going at it here in the center of the ring. Miyo Yoshida just one fight removed from losing her world title, taking a risky bounce-back fight here against Indeya Rodriguez and getting all that she can handle.
Before the fight, Yoshida said, "This is an opportunity for me to prove who I am." And it seems like both of these women are motivated, and these final 90 seconds will give Yoshida that opportunity to continue to prove who she is.
Another good chopping right hand from Yoshida, and another one. Since round 4, those have been reining in for Yoshida. She's found her timing and found her opening, but that doesn't mean that Rodriguez is without her moments as well.
That girl came to fight. Can't take nothing away from her. She is not taking her foot off the gas in 8 rounds. She's doing everything she can do. She ain't no walkover opponent. This girl came to fight.
Now, I would have to say, you'd be hard-pressed to find a fighter with a 500 record in boxing who's more dangerous to the contenders and champions in their division than Indeya Rodriguez.
Exactly. She ain't playing. This girl is not playing. She came to win tonight.
Absolutely.
And she's fighting in the 8th round like she wants to win. That's from her soul, those punches. That's from her heart, those punches. You can't teach that.
Final moments of an all-out brawl between Yoshida and Rodriguez.
That was a wire-to-wire intense fight. Both women brought combinations, power punches, as we see some of the highlights from the 8th and final round. In each highlight, we're seeing both women land, getting tangled up on the inside, but finding homes for their power shots. And Corey, we mentioned that Yoshida in her last fight maybe started slow and stayed a little slow. And it's interesting to see that she still started a little bit slower in these first 2 rounds, but then she made the adjustment. It's like she realized the urgency in round 3 and said, hey, okay, I can't let what happened last fight happen tonight.
I agree, and not only just on the pacing current, but I think the strategy. You know, getting away from just leaning in and allowing Rodriguez to just meet her at eye level. She made those adjustments. Now, that's not to say that Rodriguez couldn't have won some of those latter rounds, but the adjustments were made for Yoshida to give herself an opportunity to win this fight. scores will certainly be interesting in a fast-paced brawl like that. We'll see what the judges have to say. Yoshida certainly hoping for victory in her new homeland, her new home city of New York. It would be a big month for Miyo Yoshida, the release of her photo book in Japan, and potentially a win over a very good fighter in Indeya Rodriguez in her United States debut. Has she pulled it off? Well, Matt Compitello has the decision in his hand. Let's send it back up to the center of the ring.
At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we go to our ringside judges' scorecards. Judge John Basile scores the bout in even 76-76. Overruled by John McKay, who scores the bout 77-75. And Marcel Varela scoring the bout 78-74 in favor of the winner by majority decision, Miyo Yoshida.
Well, a mixed reaction from the crowd here in New York City. As we guessed, the scores could be a little bit tricky, and indeed, 76-76 overruled by 77-75 and 78-74. Indeya Rodriguez, you see the look on her face. She feels that she deserved the nod in that one. And who knows, maybe we can run it back. Nobody would be disappointed by that whatsoever. That was a tremendous battle. And our current Bhatia is in the ring. I believe we're hoping to find a translator so we can get a word with Miyo Yoshida. See promoter Lou DiBella in the ring with Yoshida, and now the young daughter, Mina, embraces her mother. What a moment for the Yoshida family. Let's send it up to Curran Bhatia.
I'm here with the winner, Miyo Yoshida. Miyo, before the fight, you said you wanted to prove who you are tonight. Did you do that?
前に自分のことを証明したいと言ってたけど、今日はそれをやり遂げたと思いますか？
動き的には全くできなかったんだけど、勝つことで少しだけでも自分の言ったことに一つまた向かって目標に向かっていけると思いました。最低限のことはできたかなと、勝つことで。
I was able to work this hard for this moment, and with this I'm able to take one more step to further my goals and dreams. I think I was able to do what I came here to do tonight.
From our vantage point, it seemed like in the early rounds, you were coming down to her level and you made an adjustment from round 3 onwards. Was that your game plan all along?
はなんか向こうの対戦相手と身長をちょっと低くしてやってたけど、それからちょっとストラテジーを変えて上げるようにしたけど、それはそういう風にして効果はありましたか？
今回ビザがなかなか降りずで、中4日ついて4日ですぐ試合だったので、ちょっと自分の体調面とかコンディションにちょっと不安があったので、そのリングに上がった時にどういう動きができるかっていうのはもうリングに上がった時しか分からなかったから、自然に出たものだと思います。
I unfortunately had visa issues, so I was only able to come to the country 4 days ago. So with the jet lag, I had my body condition, so I was unable to see how I would be until I stepped into the ring. And once I got into the ring, I was able to kind of slowly get into my rhythm.
And finally, we know that you are a mother to your daughter, Mina. You want to inspire others. Can you put into words what it means to get this win on this stage with your daughter watching?
あなたはその母として子供とこうやってて、その似たような人に向けて何かこう言葉とか思いはありますか？母として。
私は日本の本当に小さな南の島の生まれで、裕福な家庭ではなくて親と一緒にほとんど過ごすことができなかったから、でもそれでもこうやって夢を持ってニューヨークに娘と一緒に来ることができたから、どんだけ不器用でも時間がかかっても夢を諦めなければ目標に近づくことができるっていうのをみんなに伝えたかったです。
I'm from a small village in Japan, and we didn't come from a wealthy family, so I grew up without too much time with my parents. But here I am chasing my dreams in a foreign country with my daughter, and no matter how much, I want to be able to show and to send a message that I'm able to pursue my dreams with my child like this. And I'm glad I can show that to everyone today.
Miyo Yoshida, you were certainly able to deliver on that message tonight. Congratulations.